This is Artful Discourse, your weekly escape into the vibrant world of creativity, culture, and intellectual exploration. I'm your host, Benjamin Kirk, and I invite you to join me on a journey through the rich tapestry of human thought and the beating heart of artistic expression at Fresno State's College of Arts and Humanities. Welcome back to this week's Artful Discourse. Today we are talking about a couple of concerts at the Fresno State School of Music. First, on Wednesday, February 12th, in the Fresno State Concert Hall is The Wild Called Max, the story of a young progressive woman struggling to merge her creative identity with her lifestyle. This unique interdisciplinary project combines classic pop tunes, jazz, and original compositions, along with illustrations and narration to follow Max as she leaves her suburban life to navigate the concrete jungle in New York. The ensemble features Sarah Garzarek, a Grammy-nominated jazz singer, Nicholas Anton, a local cellist, and Fresno State faculty members Lamore Torin Emmerman on violin, Emilia Smith on clarinet, Richard Giddens on bass, Mark Ferber on drums, and finally Russ Zokaites, assistant professor of trombone, who is here to talk to us today about the performance. Russ, thank you for being here.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Now, The Wild Called Max first premiered in Brooklyn, New York in 2016 and was later featured in the 2019 International Trombone Festival in Indiana. Can you tell me a little bit about the background of the project? How did it originally come together?
So this was something that I dreamed up in my tiny apartment when I was living in Amsterdam about 2012. Maurice Sendak had recently passed away. He's the author of Where the Wild Things Are. And I was reading through it and realized that as a millennial, he kind of messed up or identified our generation a little too closely. If you remember in the original, Max goes out to where the wild things are, gets scared, and goes home.
Mm-hmm.
And this was about the same time that all the stories were coming out that all these millennials were graduating college and moving back in with their parents. And I was thinking, nah, that's not right. So we've set Max to be in her 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and she leaves home and goes out into the concrete jungle and meets all of these modern monsters. And she decides to stay. Kind of gave away the ending,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's a better message for our generation. So the whole project is kind of in response to Where the Wild Things Are.
I was wondering if there was that connection because of the name Max and how it's spelled and everything else. So that's an interesting comparison. Now, how is that played out through the music? Can you give me some examples of some of the songs that are used? Maybe some of the songs people know?
Yeah. So Whitney George did a wonderful job composing and arranging everything. So we start off with the Animals. Please don't let me be misunderstood,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard it through the grapevine from Creedence Clearwater Revival. Um, and then we have some of her original tunes, and we hear Peggy Lee's Fever. I Put a Spell on You, Mambo Italiano, Jump in the Line, Wild Night from Van Morrison, House of the Rising Sun, California Dreamin'. Um, and we end the whole thing with Charles Mingus's Monin.
Okay.
And it's she's done a wonderful job pairing the music with the original illustrations from Sammy Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really, I think when you see the whole thing together, it makes a lot of sense and it's a lot of fun. It's more of a party on stage. Um, I think there are some reflective moments within the project, but for the most part, it's just a lot of fun.
Now, I watched a little bit of this on YouTube. There's one of your previous performances of this, and so you have the ensemble up on the stage, and then the illustrations are put up on the screen above. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're gonna do that as well. On the flyer as well as on the in the Facebook event, there are two different images from the actual story. Um, Sammy is updating the illustrations and adding two or three scenes to this particular performance. So I guess we'll be able to see all the illustrations, and this audience will see uh, the finalized project. It's taken a bit.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about the illustrations, because they look kind of like comic book style. And so how many illustrations are there? How does that help carry the story? And maybe you could explain a little bit more on how it ties into music, because I think it's a little bit hard to understand when you're just talking about it. So
Yeah, so Sammy did a really wonderful job. Kind of uh, his style like you said, comic book, but also kind of grunge.
mhm,
And kind of we've reset this music for a jazz rhythm section, uh, violin, cello, bass clarinet, and bass trombone. Um, and it kind of comes across as this sort of like indie cover situation. I think the setting of the music and kind of the grunge comic book style of the illustrations really do go together. But uh, through our story, you see like Max uh, at work in a cubicle, in the traditional lifestyle, and she's dressed like a hipster.
yeah.
So this is why we have "Don't let don't let me be misunderstood" right at the beginning, is because she's surrounded by people that she doesn't get.
Mhm.
Um, there are scenes where she's like looking out of her window, kind of longing for something else. And the music, there's original compositions that are very reflective at that moment. Um, there's scenes where she's on the subway surrounded by tons of people and monsters. Um, and we have some traveling music. So I think they really do they did a Sammy and Whitney did an absolutely bang up job on making sure that the music and the illustrations match.
Yeah. Now, you were involved in the original project as well, correct?
So this was a story that I wrote.
Oh, okay.
So I took "Where the Wild Things Are," stripped out all of the words. So all the words are original, and it's a nice parody. But we used the same meter as the original. So I think it's only like uh, 20 couplets. Like
Mhm.
it's really not a lot of words. Um, but I think it was really important to maintain the same structure, so people could see kind of the relationship, and understand where I was coming from. And I think this is a very relatable project that um, people are going to understand right away.
And you're fairly new to Fresno State.
Yeah,
When did you start?
this is my third year.
Okay.
I came in 2022.
Okay. And so now you're bringing this project that you kind of you wrote and have been involved with the whole time. What Where else has it been performed over the years?
Yeah, so we were pretty lucky. Whitney runs a new music uh, ensemble in New York City, and right in 2016, this really prestigious venue uh, opened up. It's called National Sawdust, and it's basically all of these avant-garde composers, the top echelon of American composers, Philip Glass, John Adams, got together, and they uh, paid for a factory to be renovated. And it is the coolest. It's really a black box theater, but
Uh-huh.
all the walls are white. So I don't know if you can call it a black box
Yeah.
theater. But I remember walking into the space, and there was a violin recital right before us. I walked into the space, and there wasn't enough space on the stage for us to get everybody. And I walked over to the guy, and I was like, "I guess we can put the piano on the floor." And he's like, "No, man." And he just walked over to the wall and hit a button, and more stage came out of the floor. And I was like, "Oh, wow." Um, so that was a kind of really cool performance. We did it at the University of Cincinnati, in the fall of 2016, and then the project was accepted into the International Trombone Festival in 2019, um, and that was also a really fun project.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the concert?
Yeah, we'd like to fill up the concert hall, so tell your friends. This is um, targeted toward pretty much everyone. I think anyone can relate to the list of tunes I read down. Um, I say storybook instead of children's book because it is graphic. Um, so maybe middle school, high school students.
Yeah.
Um, 7:30 start time. We'll have a pre-concert lecture too. Me, Whitney, and Sammy will tell everyone a little bit about the project before we start. And the concert's only an hour.
Yeah.
The whole thing's only an hour. So if you're looking for something short and sweet in the middle of the week, I think we're it.
All right. So tickets for the Wild Called Max are free for Fresno State students. $15 for other students, that's non-Fresno State students. $20 for military, veterans, seniors over 60, and Fresno State employees, and $25 general admission. So very affordable. The concert is at 7:30 Wednesday, February 12th at the Fresno State Concert Hall. Information and tickets can be found on calendar.fresnostate.edu. Thank you so much for Russ for coming on and talking about this.
Yeah, thanks.
I,
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited to see this. This is kind of one of those. I really love interdisciplinary things that we do on campus here, and this is. I'm looking forward to this one. All right, so today is February 1st. It's officially Black History Month, and that means it's time for the annual Walk in Peace, a celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King in Black History Month at 7:30 p.m. Friday, February 14th, in the Fresno State Concert Hall. The Walk in Peace concert brings together the Fresno State and Fresno City College choirs for a moving and uplifting celebration of music and unity. Joining us today to talk about Walk in Peace is Director of Choral Activities and the Chair of the School of Music at Fresno State, Dr. Cari Earnhart. Welcome, Cari.
Hi, thank you.
All right, so what's the history behind the Walk in Peace concert?
This is a concert that began when I arrived here at Fresno State. So this will be its 9th year. One of my mentors from my doctorate, right before I moved to Fresno, said, "Hey, I did this concert in Dallas, and I thought you might be interested in it." And so I took kind of what he did and created this version. I didn't expect it to be more than a one-off, just do that one-time concert, but it was so well received by the community, and the messaging was so beautiful, and the students love it.
Mhm.
It's one of their favorite concerts of the year, and it was such a great opportunity to collaborate with our colleagues over at Fresno City College, as well as other, choirs within the area, that we decided to make it an annual event.
So, what are you most looking forward to at this concert?
Oh, it's hard to pinpoint just one thing.
Well, tell me all about it then. Let's get into it.
Well, it's just such a special night. I don't know. There's an atmosphere that is created within this concert that
Mhm.
we never. I don't even think we really dreamed that it would be. It's just such a night full of hope
Mhm.
and peace and community. I think that's the biggest thing. Is it's a night for community, and so watching our students perform and interact with the students from the other schools and with the audience. I mean, there's constant movement happening in this concert. While one choir is moving off of stage, there are either songs being sung by all of the choir members, all of the singers in the room, or sometimes we invite the audience members to sing things with us as we're transitioning one choir off stage and the other choir onto the stage, as well as having readings by great Americans that help to highlight the pieces that we
Mhm.
performed throughout the evening. Those readings and the pieces change pretty much every year. We have a couple of staples that we keep in. We always sing MLK, which was a piece by U2 that has been arranged for choir. That is always one of our closing pieces. We always have a portion of the "I Have a Dream" speech that follows that. And we always sing a version of "Lift Every Voice" as well as "We Shall Overcome."
Yeah. Now, I've been to this concert several times, both at Fresno State and at Fresno City, and you're right. It is a moving, reflective. It's incredibly powerful. It really is, and
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it every time I've been there. In fact, my wife was one of the speakers at one of those
Yes.
concerts, and she enjoyed her time in doing it too, and enjoyed the show as well. Now, are there any logistical challenges in kind of coordinating with Fresno City College on this?
The main logistical challenge for us is space,
Yeah.
right? Our concert hall does not accommodate a large number of humans at one time, and since the choirs do stay in the hall the entire concert. They don't go run out into the hallway and wait for the next performance next time that they are performing. Sometimes that gets a little challenging, but we always make it work.
Mhm.
We always make it work, and we always create space for our audience members to be in the round with us. Um, we don't rehearse together except for the hour and a half before the concert
Oh, wow.
begins. We usually come together about 5:30 that afternoon, and we do little run-throughs, and because we do combined pieces, we run through those pieces, and then any of the movements that we're gonna do, 'cause from different times, different years, we have, where the choirs will process onto stage or they'll process off of the stage. So, we coordinate all of that in that little hour and a half rehearsal time before the doors open at 7.
And you kind of switch years, right? One year it's at Fresno State, the next year it's at Fresno City.
Correct, yes, that was the very first year we did it because it was something new added to our calendar. We didn't necessarily have the space to do that, and we were also trying to reach out to our colleagues over at Fresno City College. So the first year we did it over there at the OAB,
Mhm.
and then we decided, oh, well, let's just alternate campuses each year, and that has worked out really well for us. And we have some people that come to this concert every year. Like they look forward to it within the community, and they're there every year. But it also, I think, helps us that we do change locations because we end up getting, there's some people that go, oh, it's at Fresno State, I'm going to the concert. Oh, it's at Fresno City, I'm going to the. So that's been really great, I think, for both of our programs and both of our music programs.
Yeah. You have several ensembles, right? Can you talk about the different ensembles that are involved and how they come together? Is it do they
Sure. Typically, performing on behalf of Fresno State are our chamber singers and our concert choir. Each ensemble performs separately and then all together, obviously, for the combined pieces. And usually, their Fresno City singers perform as well as their larger ensemble. And I'm trying to think what they call it. It's not. They don't call it a concert choir.
Oh, that's all
I
right.
can't remember what they call it. But yeah, typically both of those choirs come over, they perform as well. And then for the final pieces in the program, all of the choirs are on stage together, which is pretty spectacular because it ends up being around 150 singers
Mhm.
or so on that stage and in that space singing.
And one thing about our concert hall, while it's small, I always say that it's one of the most powerful places to go watch
Hmm.
live music because you're talking about 150 people on a stage in a hall that seats 270 people. And there is no bad seat in that concert hall. And so j- it's hard to describe the power when so many people are on stage performing for you in kind of that small venue.
Yeah, that really is a nice thing about our performance space and about this concert. Having so many singers. Oftentimes, we will bleed out into the audience, into the aisles, and sing. So you really are completely surrounded at times by the music.
Is there anything at this year's event that you can maybe give us a little sneak peek about?
It's going to be great. I can tell you that. This concert highlights the American spiritual, gospel music, and social justice music.
Got
That
it.
is our focus, and we highlight composers of color. And it's it's just I don't know. It's just you need to come and experience it. I think to really see what it's all about. It's just a beautiful evening. There's just so much energy and love in the room.
Yeah.
It makes me feel emotional thinking about it. Watching our students post concert. I remember the very first one we did. I was brand new, so you're trying to win over these students, right?
Mhm.
And I remember students, some of our singers, standing in the OAB afterwards, going, "Oh my goodness, I love to sing. I love choir," and because it was just such a powerful evening, and unlike other things that they had done, not that all performances aren't wonderful, but
Mhm.
it's just really special. And I would just encourage everyone out there to come and join us for this evening. It's free for Fresno State students. It's only $5 a ticket for everyone else. So, um, can't get much cheaper than that, right?
Right, right.
And so and we usually sell out. So get your tickets ahead of time online.
All right. So, is there anything I missed? Anything you'd like to add? Sounds like you just added everything right there, but anything else?
Just trying to get all the plugs in that I can. Yeah, don't miss it. This is
Yeah.
not an event to miss for sure.
All right. As Cari mentioned, tickets for Walk in Peace, a celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Black History Month, are free for Fresno State students and $5 for general admission. Wow, that's just $5. And you don't even have to pay for parking on campus because after 4 p.m. on Fridays, parking is free on campus at the Fresno State Concert Hall. It's at 7:30 p.m. Friday, February 14th. Info and those $5 tickets can be found on calendar.fresnostate.edu. We also have several other Black History Month events in the College of Arts and Humanities, including February 3rd through February 25th, African Americans in Labor Art Exhibition, highlighting the complex and transformational histories of skilled and unskilled labor in America, Africa, and the diaspora. Presented by the Department of Art and Design and Art History and featuring the works of students, alumni, faculty, and local artists, the exhibit runs from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday in the Dean's Gallery in the old music building at Fresno State, Music 186. Then every Friday, that's February 7th, February 14th, February 21st, and February 28th, there's Red Beans and Jazz, presented by Fresno State Radio KFSR 90.7 FM. Enjoy weekly presentation of history of jazz and other musical genres through songs and commentary as they parallel significant events in the African American experience. Now, this is Friday morning, 9 a.m. to noon. You can listen on 90.7 FM. You can listen on KFSR.org, the TuneIn Radio app, and you'll want to go to Fresno State to listen on the TuneIn Radio app, or just say, Alexa, turn on Fresno State Radio 90.7. Then on Friday, February 14th, is Douglas Day. The Department of English will host a transcribe-a-thon using materials from the Library of Congress and a national live stream with music, readings, and discussions from 3 to 6 p.m. in the Peters 101 building. Now, bring your computer. Now, just a reminder, February 14th is Douglas Day. Now, Frederick Douglass did not know his birthday, but he decided to celebrate it on February 14th, and that's why they celebrate Douglas Day that day. So, and that's also the same day as the Walk in Peace concert. So you can go to Douglas Day from 3 to 6 p.m., maybe grab some dinner over at Campus Point, then head out to the Walk in Peace concert, all on Friday, February 14th. Again, this is events in the College of Arts and Humanities for Black History Month. For more information and tickets on these and all events on campus, go to calendar.fresnostate.edu. Artful Discourse is a production of the College of Arts and Humanities at California State University, Fresno. The Dean is Dr. Honora Chapman. This program is written, directed, and produced by me, Benjamin Kirk, the college's communication specialist. The theme song for Artful Discourse is Maiden Voyage by Fresno State music professor Benjamin Boone from his album, Joy. More information about his music can be found at benjaminboone.com. Special thanks to KFSR and FSR Underground General Manager Julie Lindahl for making this show possible. You can learn more about the College of Arts and Humanities and find an archive of our shows at our website, cah.fresnostate.edu, or on our blog, fresnostatecah.com.